The lounge was buzzing with quiet luxury, polished floors, dim golden lights, and velvet armchairs. A man in worn sneakers stepped through the door, carrying nothing but a backpack and a tired look. The receptionist glanced up and immediately frowned. Before he could even speak, a guard rushed over and blocked his path. "Sir, this area is for VIP guests only." The man nodded gently and whispered, "I know." That's when a tall man in a suit stormed over. Without a word, he slapped the stranger across the face. "Get out," he barked. "You people never learn." The man said nothing. He just stood there, his cheek red, his eyes calm. But then he reached into his back pocket. "Hey, quick question for you watching this. Where in the world are you watching from?" Drop your city below, because what he pulled out silenced the entire lounge. It wasn't a weapon or a wallet. It was a sleek, dark leather ID. The man handed it to the guard without blinking. The guard looked down and froze. His lips parted, but no words came out. The suited man who slapped him leaned over to read it too, and his face went pale. 3. Golden letters stood out clearly. "Yeah," the receptionist gasped. The guard took a step back. The lounge manager rushed over, whispering, "Sir, we didn't know." The man simply replied, "You didn't ask." But the moment wasn't over yet. The man's phone rang. He answered quietly, said 3 words, and looked up at the guard. "He's coming. Who's coming?" Everyone in the lounge started to look around. 3 minutes later, the main entrance opened again. This time, 2 black-suited men walked in, scanning the room. Behind them, a short man in military uniform stepped forward. He wasn't just any officer, he was a senior Pentagon official. He walked straight to the man who had been slapped, saluted him, and said, "We're sorry this happened, sir. We'll take it from here." The lounge went dead silent. The suited man who hit him began to panic. "I didn't know. He looked like..." The officer cut him off. "Like someone you could disrespect, someone who doesn't belong." There was no shouting, just sharp silence and eyes full of regret. But the man hadn't said his final words yet. He turned slowly to the one who slapped him and said, "What did I do when I entered this lounge?" The man stuttered. Nothing. Exactly," Keanu replied. "I walked in. That's all it took for you to judge me." Now the name had been spoken. Keanu Reeves. Someone gasped. Someone dropped a drink. Everyone in the room suddenly remembered every viral story they'd ever read about his kindness, his silence, his class. The manager began apologizing profusely, offering him anything, a private suite, a meal, even money. Keanu smiled gently. "I just wanted to sit," he paused, "but now I'd like to leave." And he turned toward the door, but something happened before he reached it. A young boy ran forward, maybe 10 years old, tugging at Keanu's sleeve. "Are you really John Wick?" the boy asked with wide eyes. Keanu bent down and smiled. "Sometimes." The boy's mother rushed forward, apologizing, but Keanu shook his head and took the boy's sketchbook. Inside were drawings of him, rough but heartfelt. "They laughed at me too," the boy whispered. "At school." Keanu looked into his eyes and said, "Then keep drawing and never let anyone tell you who you are based on how you look." The mother cried softly. The boy beamed, and now the crowd wasn't watching in shame. They were watching in awe. Still, something else was about to unfold. As Keanu stood to leave, a man near the bar approached with trembling hands. "I was the first to laugh when you walked in," he said. "I thought you didn't belong. I was wrong." Keanu nodded once, then said, "Everyone makes mistakes. The point is, do you learn from them?" The man looked down. "I will." That's when the Pentagon officer stepped forward again. "Mr. Reeves, we were hoping to reach you today anyway." Keanu raised an eyebrow. "There's a humanitarian flight. We need someone to escort a group of kids out of a war zone. We heard you'd understand." Keanu's reply was simple. "I'll go." But the moment wasn't finished yet. As he walked away, the room didn't erupt in applause. It stood still, in quiet respect. The same man they laughed at, insulted, and struck had just agreed to risk his life to save strangers across the world. All because he never needed validation, just purpose. Outside, the skies were dark. but the headlights of a black SUV lit up the driveway. Keanu got in without a word, and as the doors closed, the suited man who slapped him whispered, "He's not just an actor, he's a better man than I'll ever be." If this story moved you, then subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon. More powerful stories are coming your way. You won't believe what happens in the next one.